A verb is a word which shows existence, possession, and action. Okay, so now let's go and see what are the other types of the verb be which shows existence. Please remember, we won't be using form for that. Why? Because already we do have these families, like 3 forms are there, be, have, and do. Now further we will divide them in types instead of form, as you may have learned in your schools. Okay, so the first one is be, which shows existence. The first type of the verb, there are 3. One, the be itself, the second is are, the third is am. The second type of the verb, there are 2. One is were, another is was. And the third type of the verb is be. And on the left side you see the first type of the verb plus s or es, or in short we have written v1 plus s or es, that is. Now here you might be asking a question, that why it is not be's or r's or am, because first type of the verb are these 3. Well, this is an irregular verb and I don't know why they haven't written it this way. Okay, but anyhow, now the first type of the verb plus ing would become being, and here is another question. Okay, so ing is added to be. Why it is not added to r and m? Because they are also the first type of the verb, or in old understanding it is the first form of the verb. So why it is not r-ing or m-ing? Well, maybe the reason is the be is the leader of this whole group, and when it is the first type of the verb, so ing should be added to this one rather than r or m. Okay, now let me make it a bit clear that there are different functions of these verb types, like they do not have only one function, and that is the reason it could give different meanings and it could be used in for different purpose. Why? Maybe for active voice, for passive voice, and reported speeches you use it in different ways. But especially when I give you an example of active voice, you can use these verbs for 2 purposes. The first one is to show existence, and the second one is to show the progress of the action, right? Whenever you add these verbs with other verbs, then it could become the progressive tenses, right? Let's see these examples. The first example is you are in a room. The second example is you are watching a video in a room. Now here you can see are in the first sentence, are watching in the second sentence. These are verbs, right? Now you have to divide these verbs into 2 parts. On the left side, that is HV. HV mean helping verb. So the are in the second sentence is basically the helping verb. On the right side you can see MV, which means main verb. And are in the first sentence and the watching in the second sentence, both of them are basically main verbs. Now you see there are 2 r's. This seems alike. There is no difference when it comes to their physical appearance, but when it comes to their function there is too much difference. Why? Because the are in the first sentence is basically, it shows the existence, that where are you? But the are in the second sentence, it helps the another verb watching, that you are doing something right now. The thing is in the progress right now. Maybe you can say like he is watching or she is watching, or you can use it for the past tenses, like you were watching instead of you are watching, right? I just wanted to make it a bit clear that whenever you see these types of the verb, it doesn't mean it may be doing one function. It could have more than one functions, right? Depends upon for what purpose they are used there. I think this is enough for be verbs now. In the next video we would explain all these things in great detail. Now if we come back and see the second family or second form of the verb, which is have or possess, like you have something or you possess something, something is your property. The first thing is, let's see some other types of this verb. The first type of the verb or V1 is have, the second is had, and the third one is also had. The first type plus s or es, or V1 plus s or es, that is has. and V1 plus ing or first type plus ing is having. Now when it comes to their physical appearance, it may seem the same. For example, have could be in many different places, but it could be giving different meaning. Why? Because you could use it for many different purposes, for active voice, for passive voice, for reported speech, and the same you can use it for two other different purposes. The first one is, look at this example. You have a room, or maybe you have a mobile phone, like something is your property instead of you are somewhere. Now in this example, you have something, right? And the second example, you have watched a video in a room. Now here you have completed something, already you have got something. Maybe you possessed some sort of property now. Why? Because before you were watching video, now you have already watched it. It means like you already possess those information now. Those information are now basically part of your quality, right? If you have got good information, so good quality, good adjective. If you have got the bad information, so bad quality and bad adjective. So now let me come back to the topic. In these two examples, have and have watched, both of them are basically verb. On the left side, have is basically a helping verb. On the right side, have and watched, both of them are main verb. Now again, you see in both these sentences there is have. Both seems alike, they are not different, but when it comes to their function, their meaning, their purpose, it is totally different. So that is the reason the function of these verbs are more important rather than putting them in groups. Now I think it is enough for now on this verb, and we would also make some videos on this. If you want this, please comment there. And now let's go back and see what is in the other family. The other family is do, and it shows our action. Whatever action we do, this is basically the do family. And this is also open-end, like this is not only do, there are thousands of different action vocabulary or action verbs, right? And before the be and have, both of them are limited and closed. You cannot add some other new word, or you cannot delete from them the old one. But to this family, you could also add some new actions if you want. Let's see what are the other types of do. The first type of the verb do is do, the second is did, and the third one is done. The first type plus s or es is does. With do, they have added es, and their v1 plus ing type is doing. Easy, no problem, right? Okay, now we also can use the other verb and also show their types. For example, take is a verb, which is the first type of the verb. Its second type is took, third type is taken, and the first type plus s or es is takes. T-A-K-E-S. Only s is added, right? And the previous example, es were added, and the v1 plus ing form is taking, right? Now let me give you some examples to see how does this function in a sentence. The first example is you do something in a room. The second example is you watch videos in a room. In these examples, you see the do in the first example is a verb, and the watch in the second example is also a verb. But here you can see there is no helping verb, right? Well, if you want to create a question, or if you want to create a negative sentence, then there will be a helping verb. But for now, in simple sentences, they don't need any sort of helping verb. Like this is a verb which doesn't need any helping verb for these types of sentences. Now I think this is enough for this video, and hopefully in the future we would create some more creative videos. Finally, let me just make the definition again, and now you can also create your own definition of the verb, which is very clear for you. The first one is like verb is a word which shows existence, possession, and action. Like you are, you possess, and you act. Like right now you are somewhere, you possess some sort of mobile, for example, and you are watching the videos. Like this is your action, and this is our verb. Thanks for watching Explimp English. And in the next video, we will discuss the adverb. Please be in contact and watch that video too. Or maybe you could subscribe the Explimp English if you like it.